Hey there, I'm estate planning attorney Paul Rabelais, and in this video, I'm actually going to tell you why you shouldn't protect assets from the nursing home. Okay, so Medicaid planning is a huge industry. Thousands of lawyers around the country make a living advising people how to avoid losing their life savings and their home if they enter a nursing home. Medicaid planning can be complicated, but if you break it down to its simplest form, it involves getting assets out of your name and out of your control at least 5 years before entering a nursing home. People do this for two reasons. First, an individual must pay for 100% of their nursing home expenses. Depending upon where you live, that's anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 monthly. Unless, among other requirements, you have less than $2,000 of what's called countable resources, money in the bank, investments, real estate that is not your home, and you have not transferred any assets out of your name in the previous 5 years. But while the entire Medicaid planning industry is kind of hammering you with protect your assets from nursing homes, make yourself eligible for long-term care Medicaid, avoid nursing home poverty, some people out there should not go through the time, expense, and burden of attempting to position yourself so that you qualify for Medicaid if you enter a nursing home. Here are 9 reasons why you perhaps should not engage in Medicaid planning. Oh, and note that while I give you 9 reasons why you shouldn't engage in Medicaid planning, it's usually a combination of some of the 9 reasons that may make it so it does not make a whole lot of sense to engage in Medicaid planning. And here's the 9 reasons. Number 1, your estate is too large. Folks, here's the deal. If you have an estate that is valued at, let's say, $200,000 to $500,000, there is a chance you could lose everything if you go into a nursing home. For example, if a nursing home costs $100,000 per year and you were there for 5 years, which is longer than the average nursing home stay, you could lose the bulk of, if not all, of your entire estate. I could see people in that estate size range wanting to protect themselves from a total loss. But people with, say, $2 to $3 million or more of an estate size or estate value are simply not going to lose their life savings due to nursing home expenses. And to take someone with $2 to $3 million or more and tell them that they have to reposition everything so that they have less than $2,000 in their name, combined with the fact that the care that they could easily pay for will likely be much better care than what the government provides the indigent, well, Medicaid planning just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. You're fortunate that you have those resources, so use them to get the quality of care that you deserve. Number 2, you must use your income. Sounds like a good idea when someone says, I have a $650,000 estate and I want to protect it from the nursing home because nursing homes in my area cost $7,000 per month and I'll be wiped out in a few short years. I want to do Medicaid planning because it will save me $7,000 per month if I go in a nursing home. When in reality, the best Medicaid planning will not save you $7,000 per month. You see, even if you get all of your assets out of your name, you cannot get your income out of your name. Income like Social Security income and a monthly pension that you will get for the rest of your life. Let's say, for example, that someone has $5,500 of monthly income as a result of their Social Security and 1 or more pensions that they receive. And I realize you may not have $5,500 of monthly income, but use whatever amount you have. But the person with $5,500 of income who takes all of their assets out of their name to have less than $2,000 of assets in their name won't be saving $7,000 per month in the future when they go into a nursing home because the Medicaid rules require them to assign all of their income to the nursing home to pay for their care. So at best, they will be saving $1,500 per month. The care costs $7,000 minus the $5,500 of their monthly income that they are required to assign to the nursing home. And so they're doing all of this, at the cost of giving up control over all of their assets. And to get the long-term care that indigents get who rely on the government to pay for their care. Number 3, your children won't put you in a nursing home. Sure, no one knows what the future holds insofar as what kind of care you might need in the future. But I've had many conversations with children of elderly parents over the years. Many of those children tell me something like, look, Paul, there is no way I'm going to let my parent or parents live in a nursing home. They have savings, and I don't care if they spend every last penny on their care, or some children even say, I'll pay for the care that they need. But they say, I want them to get care that is better than what they would get in a Medicaid nursing home facility. Sometimes the children say, I'll make sure they live in a better private pay facility, or sometimes the children say, or I'll make sure they pay for excellent care to come into their home to take care of them. Or some children say, I'll bring my parents into my home to live with me where I can watch over things. But the child often says, there is no way I'm letting my mother or father live in a Medicaid nursing home. So again, if your family feels that strong and you are pretty sure that you're not likely to ever enter a nursing home, then why go through the trouble of getting everything out of your name and giving up control when you are not likely to ever reside in a nursing home? Number 4, to engage in Medicaid planning, you must relinquish control. Let's face it. Medicaid planning requires that you relinquish control over your estate. Right now, your assets are likely either in your name and under your control, or your assets are in a revocable living trust, also under your full control. But under either of these circumstances, these assets are not protected from nursing home expenses. To structure your estate so that you could potentially qualify for Medicaid when in a nursing home in the future, you must give up control either by putting assets in other people's names, your children for example, or by putting your assets into a certain type of irrevocable trust that you cannot change and cannot control. And the trust provides you have no access whatsoever to the trust principal for your needs. The Medicaid rules are clear. If you have assets in your name, or if they are in a trust and you have the ability to spend them on yourself, they're not protected. And when someone who has controlled their money their entire lifetime, and they're told that for the rest of their lifetime, they're going to have no control over what they have accumulated, that's often a concern for people. Number 5, you would qualify for Medicaid anyway. Sometimes married couples want to get their assets out of their name because they think it will help them qualify for Medicaid faster. But occasionally, someone will qualify for Medicaid without having to move any assets around. For example, let's say a married couple has a home, a car, and another $120,000 in life savings. And let's assume the community spouse resource allowance in their state of residence is the 2021 figure of $130,380. If that married couple makes an uncompensated transfer, gets assets out of their name, or, in other words, they moved assets out of their name, it will trigger a penalty period that could render them ineligible for long-term care Medicaid benefits for 5 years. It may be better that they do nothing, and if one spouse needs to go into a nursing home, that spouse would qualify since the community spouse can have less than $130,380 of countable resources. So in some cases, don't make your situation worse by moving assets around. Number 6. You have an ethical or moral problem with Medicaid planning. Some people ethically feel that if they have the assets to pay for their care, they should use those assets for their care instead of engaging in carefully crafted legal strategies to maneuver what you own so that you don't have to pay for your care. The government will pay for your care. Maybe you feel like that if everyone with assets engaged in Medicaid planning, then the government would not be able to pay for everyone's long-term care once they got to the point where they needed that care. However, the federal and state governments make the rules, and they generally state that if you follow the rules, then the government will pay for your care. So by engaging in Medicaid planning, by getting assets out of your name 5 years before you go in a nursing home, you're simply doing what the government says you can legally do. But if you have a moral or ethical issue with proactively arranging your estate to qualify for government assistance, then maybe you shouldn't. Number 7. Most of your money is in your retirement accounts. For a long time, IRAs and 401 401k accounts have been considered those sacred, don't pay tax until you have to accounts, where older people take their required minimum distributions, pay the least amount of income tax possible, and allow the remainder of the traditional IRA to continue to grow tax deferred. But when it comes to Medicaid planning, you need to get assets out of your name, and you can't transfer an IRA to other individuals or to a trust without first taking an entire taxable distribution from that traditional IRA, paying the income taxes, which for many could be a six-figure tax bill or more, and then getting the after-tax proceeds out of your name. Almost no one, when they look at it closely, wants to take a large income taxable distribution from their IRA that they're not required to do. And with Medicaid planning, you can't really get a little out of your IRA at a time because the 5-year penalty period for transfers really doesn't start until every last penny is out of your IRA and transferred out of your name. So lots of people like the thought of qualifying for Medicaid if they go into a nursing home, but they don't want to incur the income tax liability that results from taking a total or almost total income taxable distribution from their IRA. Number 8, you don't have 5 years. Like I said earlier, long-term Medicaid eligibility involves taking your assets out of your name and then ideally staying out of the nursing home for at least 5 years so that when you do go into a nursing home, you have both nothing in your name and it has been at least 5 years since you transferred anything out of your name. I've seen too many people, some in their 80s or 90s, who have had a bad stroke or are severely demented, or for one medical reason or another, I hate to say it, they are on the doorstep of the nursing home and they're just not going to survive the 5-year penalty period. So they engage in all this legal planning, hoping to qualify for long-term care Medicaid 5 years later, but they pass away 2 months later, 6 months later, or even 3 years later, and the Medicaid planning just wasn't necessary or helpful. And then number 9, the last reason, and this doesn't sound too professional, but I just don't know any other way to say it other than nursing homes suck. I'm sure that there are some Medicaid nursing homes where all of the owners, staff, and other providers of care do an amazing job, and I'm sure the aroma in the facility is very pleasant to the senses. But I have personally observed, and I've heard in my 30 years of estate planning, too many stories from families who complained about the inadequacy of care provided to their family member in a Medicaid nursing home facility. And then COVID shined a light on some of the inadequacies of nursing home. So why would you want to go through all of this trouble, take everything you've ever acquired out of your name and control, so that one day you might qualify for a long-term care program that your federal and state government will pay for, when you could have received a higher quality of care in your final years in your home or in a private pay facility from which you can cover the cost out of your existing monthly income and the savings that you have. So am I saying that no one should engage in estate planning? Of course not. But I am saying that if you have more than sufficient resources and you feel like you'd want to get care superior to what a Medicaid nursing home provides, whether you would want that care in your home or in a private facility, and you are concerned about relinquishing control over your money while you are healthy, then you'll want to consider some of the things in this video before you act. Because this video and this channel is all about allowing you to make informed decisions about your estate. Again, just a reminder here to share this video with anyone who may be presented with a decision in coming years about what kind of care should be provided to you or a loved one. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll keep getting informed about these estate planning videos and you can make informed decisions. Have a great day.